Sorry, Supercell King? Anyone from Supercell or King here? No? Oh, no one is from Supercell or King. So you are facing the challenge of fighting with everybody else for the 1 to 3%, right? Okay. So the free-to-play model serves a lot of users to developers and gamers, right? But the model is not perfect, and it needs to evolve a little bit. Because the real danger while we focus too much on the in-app purchase model in isolation, is that we are actually we are educating a generation of gamers that believe that games are free. And that is a race to the bottom. We can joke a little bit that everyone in India believes that they should be free, but that's a different discussion. Okay? They just start from the, actually, believe me, where I live in Southeast Asia, they also believe the same thing. Right, but that is a race to the bottom, right? Because we see that it's very small amount of people that pay. We have increasing numbers, but at the same time, we also have more and more mobile games being released all the time. Okay, so this is a serious amount of competition going there. So what is our vision for a possible solution? And as I said a moment ago, right, I believe that the in-app purchase model has to evolve. I don't have the answer to that yet, right? And I'm not smart enough to come up with the answer, in all honesty, but I'm thinking about it. But in the meantime, right, from Google, we believe that we can help you try to make a little bit more sense of your user base to help you increase the amount of money that you make from the same user base, right? And this is sort of, in short, kind of the vision that we have in mind, right? So my advice is absolutely go into freemium, right? But be prepared, as you need to invest significantly in analytics and marketing to be successful, as you saw from the presentation from our colleague from Zynga, right? At the end of the day, you want to build a sustainable long-term business. Success in freemium is about having great gameplay, but it is also about having a highly tuned, highly reactive business operation. With data in hand, therefore, our vision for you guys, for all the games developers, is an ecosystem of tools and services that specifically in monetization allow you, or give you the tools and the knowledge needed to try to increase your outputs across the 100% of your user base, not just the 1 to 3% of your user base. I have talked a little bit about in-app purchases. I'm going to be talking a little bit now about advertising, right? And I don't see any eyes rolling just yet. People saying, oh, advertising in games. Okay. Can you give me 10 more minutes, and I'll try to convince you that advertising actually is a perfect complement for in-app purchases to generate revenue from 100% of your user base. First of all, some numbers. Advertising is, as I say, very much part of our vision. And actually, it's a massive industry. And this is growing even more massive. Online advertising in the US alone, which is relatively small today in comparison with non-offline advertising, will likely grow to 50 billion in the future. As a comparison, the US in-app purchase market is around 5 billion today. So 50 billion versus 5 billion. As big advertisers like Reliance, Flipkart, P&G, Toyota grow, their advertising will slowly shift from traditional forms of advertising to online and mobile. However, for some developers, advertising in games may have some negative connotations, or you don't even know what advertising in games means as a business model. If you know what it is and you have a negative kind of view of it, this tends to be based on an old-fashioned view of advertising as banners sitting at the bottom of your beautiful game. And you probably don't want that, right? Now, that is not to say banners still have a space in certain categories of games, in certain countries, and for certain types of games. As part of our vision, right, this is what we are proposing. We can help you figure out kind of the profile of your users so that you put in front of them the right business model. If a user loves to pay for things in your game, fantastic. Keep offering things for him, for that user as in-app purchases in your game. If you know that person is not paying, the majority of the users, then there are other ways of ensuring that you are generating some revenue from them. So combining, this is a study we did a few months ago in Europe with some of our partners, like yourselves, that have more than 10 million downloads per month. And what we discovered is that combining both in-app purchases and ads, you can get double the revenue per download than using only in-app purchases. Double the revenue. Right? Anyone not interested so far on doubling the revenue? Very good. Let's continue then. And I'm not just saying it, right? The potential for monetization through in-app ads is large and growing. According to App Annie, an IDC, and I'm sure you guys use App Annie, in-app ads are the fastest growing ads right now. Flurry, and I know that Flurry is very popular as an analytics suite here in India, right? So Flurry just shared their market size estimates for in-app ads at GamesBeat in September. According to them, ads in mobile games will generate $6 billion in 2014, $12 billion in 2016. So 2 years from now, within 2 years, revenue from in-app ads will double. That means more advertisers moving really, really fast and putting money for their advertising in mobile apps. Whatever the number it is, we can't know at this point, obviously, but whatever the number it is, we know that it is pretty big. But in order to know what business model works best with each user, as I mentioned a moment ago, you need data, right? And again, as I say, I know that Flurry is very popular in India. That's fantastic. The important thing is that you have something, some tool that gives you the data that you need to decide the business model for the user. Obviously, we own our own analytics suite, which is actually now integrated within the same AdMob SDK. So if you decide to take a look at it, once you have integrated the AdMob SDK, in the dashboard, you will see a tab for AdMob and a tab for analytics inside it. And obviously, the advantage to that is that they are seamlessly integrated. So the exchange of data is seamlessly done. Now, the good thing is you can use them separately, of course. They are modular. You don't need to use them together. But it becomes very, very convenient and very powerful. Let's talk something that excites me quite a lot. Remember that I mentioned kind of the traditional banners that sit at the bottom of the game? Now, those exist, obviously, and I have some good news for you about them. But most importantly, we have some very, very exciting types of formats that we have been working on in the past year. So I'm just going to go into some of these in a little bit more detail. A report recently released pointed at the fact that as an aggregate globally, an average, interstitials deliver better results on a CPM basis than in-app purchases. So the best results in terms of CPM basis, interstitials, followed by in-app purchases, followed by video, I seem to remember, and a few other formats. You can actually increase monetization rates 10 times to 20 times by using interstitials compared to using only banners. Interstitials themselves are improving, and we have a lot of different types now, including text, image, rich media, video, etc. And our interstitial CPM has actually more than doubled in the last 12 months. If any of you are using interstitials, you will have seen this effect already. Has anyone who kind of has actually played videos on YouTube by any chance? You may have. Thank you. Very good. Those of you who have will have seen a video format, which is called skippable. The actual name is TrueView ads, and it's those ads that kind of allow you kind of to watch for 5 seconds, and if you like it, fantastic, you finish watching it. If you don't, then you click the button and you go to the video that you want to watch. Those are hugely successful with advertisers because the user themselves, right, the viewer, is telling them, yeah, I'm engaged with your ad, I'm happy with it, love it, and therefore the advertiser is ready to pay a lot of money for that. Now, if you skip the ad, the advertiser doesn't pay anything. Right? So everybody's happy. The user goes on to your content, to your video, right? And the advertiser doesn't pay anything. If the user watches the video, the advertiser pays big dollars, and the user still goes on to your game or to your video. Now, these are available on mobile now, and we're starting to roll them out slowly, and they're starting to give really, really good results. Video app install ads, these are interstitials actually, and they work great and deliver great performance. This is a full interstitial with a video preview of the app actually being promoted. One caveat here, video is great, but there is a lot of money to be made outside of video too. Right? As I said, there's text, image interstitials, and we are reaching some CPMs of $15 in the US with some of these formats at the moment. I did mention banners a little bit. Banners are the traditional way of advertising. We have been hard at work at creating a new format, which we call smart banners. Monetization of this format has continued growing over this year. These are banners that detect the device size and orientation and adjust intelligently to fit the screen. And finally, in terms of formats, I want to briefly discuss new banner formats like engagement ads. These are banners that expand when the user taps them and enable the advertiser to introduce photos, videos, and maps. This is super, super exciting for brands at the moment, and companies like Coca-Cola, for example, love this type of ads. This is the type of continuous innovation that enables us to attract such a wide variety of advertisers to our network. Most importantly, you will have seen something from all of these ads. Either they do not detract from the game experience, or they actively contribute to the user engagement. And that is very important to Google, but specifically to me and my team. The whole of my team, we have gaming backgrounds. As I say, I come from EA. There's another guy from Sony, another guy from Gree, another guy from 50 Cubes, which is a startup like yours in California. There's a few other people. We come from the games industry. We are gamers ourselves. We understand that we have to pay. Ourselves, we understand as users that we have to pay for the gaming experience. But at the same time, we want to ensure that that gaming experience integrates well with the game. So everything that we're working on is intended to ensure that happens, that we do not interrupt the engagement of the user with the game, and actually contribute to it, while at the same time helping you generate more revenue. Before going any further, I want to make clear that our products work across operating systems. So Android obviously is hugely popular in India, but as a global business, you need to be present in iOS, and you might want to be present on Windows Phone as well, right? And our platforms, our products, work great in all of them. By the way, if any of you are publishing for or are interested in publishing for the Amazon platform, the Kindle Fire and the Kindle platform, that is Android, so our products work very well for Kindles as well. Most importantly, anyone using Unity or Cocos as the game engine of your choice, possibly a few of those, right? So we're integrating with these two platforms, the largest two platforms in the world. On the one hand, we have been working with Unity for the past year. We launched banners in 2013 and interstitials last May. With a few clicks, you can get AdMob in Unity and push it across Android and iOS. And also Play services, by the way. And same with the Cocos 2DX. We just announced this 2 weeks ago in Shanghai. AdMob is on the any SDK platform, for those of you that use it. And you can easily include our products as part of your development of the game directly in the platform. And I'm not just talking about AdMob here. Google Analytics has a cross-platform Unity plugin too. So if any of you is thinking about dipping your toes in other platforms, even consoles, for example, we got you covered there as well. Now, AdMob is the biggest unified apps business platform in the world. We have 650,000 apps using it, 900 million monthly mobile devices, and 1 million advertisers. And the most important thing is that because it's a global ad network by Google, it also means that we attract the largest brand names in the world. There may be other more niche ad networks, more game-oriented ad networks, where when using them, what you're getting is banners to promote the products of your competitors, for example, other games. In our case, we can bring the big brands like the Coca-Colas, etc., of the world to your products. And most importantly, we have gaming teams pretty much in all the regions to support the implementation and the knowledge. I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to some of our partners because from a certain perspective, we're competitors with these networks, and you will recognize some of them. But as it happens, AdMob is actually a mediation platform of its own. And we already integrate 35 ad networks, including AdColony, InMobi. I just met the InMobi guys, not sure if you're here, but obviously we mediate you. MoPub, Facebook, Flurry. Also networks with a specific regional coverage in the Middle East, Japan, Korea, India, video networks, you name it. And we're working really deeply with the whole ecosystem to continue adding more networks. So when you decide to use AdMob as your ad serving solution, right, it doesn't mean that you need to sacrifice other relationships or other kind of implementations that you already have. We can just mediate those for you. And finally, if the network that you want to use is not covered, you can add it by using custom code. This is some exciting data that we only shared with the world and with you guys today, sort of in the last week. AdMob alone has paid $1 billion to app developers in the last 2 years. And most importantly, what is impressive is our CPM has grown, has tripled in the last 18 months. And we're seeing extremely strong performance in pretty much every region. Most importantly, you don't know me. You don't have to take my word for what I'm telling you. So there's a few partners that have been working with us in the last year or so that have some very good things to say. For example, Sega, in their mobile games, are seeing consistently high RPMs with AdMob in 200+ countries and territories. Elsoft, which is a learning app developer in the US, has seen a sustained CPM of $7 net worldwide. and they have increased the revenue through AdMob by 10 to 20 times. If anyone knows Koroporo, and it took me a while to learn to say their name, it is a Japanese company that develops mobile games as well. And what they are doing is they cross-promote all their games within AdMob. So we actually work with them very closely to figure out their strategy. And they decided to use 50% of the ads on their casual games to cross-promote their core games, and the other 50% of the ads to generate revenue specifically. So they are achieving, apart from the cross-promotion, they are also increasing the revenues 3 times within 2013 alone. This is a San Francisco-based company called RockU, mobile games developer. And what they did is they actually shared this slide in the mobile gaming forum in Seattle a few weeks ago. And the whole implementation, the whole monetization strategy is based in a combination of Google Analytics and AdMob. RockU will actually make the most of our system to boost in-app purchases and ads. They are linking Google Analytics with AdMob, leveraging house ads, and using AdMob alongside several mediation partner networks. AdMob will deliver 100% of the banners, and for interstitials, AdMob is being set in an optimized position to compete as successfully as possible with other networks. And they're already seeing great results. A quick note before I wrap up. This session is very focused on mobile games monetization, but if any of you guys are working on other platforms like online games, for example, we also got you covered. For example, we have great monetization performance with video and banner ads on browser-based games. And we are working on very exciting formats for next year. Now at Google, we don't want to define which model works best for you. What we do offer is a dialogue and all our expertise in games monetization to help you define your model, execute on your decision, and support the growth of your business in India and to the world. And we offer that dialogue on the basis of being able to support it, to support our suggestions with a full ecosystem of products that integrate seamlessly. I'd like to close by saying that Google values and builds long-term relationships. We can help you no matter the type of game developer you are, what your objectives are, and what you're trying to achieve. The games market is changing dramatically, right? And what is very important for us is to work with you guys in a way that ensures that you're focusing on what you do best, which is make games. We can help you with everything else. The only thing I would like to ask from you today is to let us be part and partners of your great journeys as very successful game developers while you continue building the games industry in India. We'd like to see you guys creating great games in India and for the world, and taking those games and becoming very successful developers. And most importantly, we'd love to work with you to make as many millions of people as possible very happy when they play your games. Thank you very much for your time. I saw the time out sign 3 minutes ago. Do you have time for questions? We have a few questions. Okay. Do we have a microphone or something? Okay, there's a lady here who says she'll be loud.
Okay, from the 2 to 6% of people who actually buy in-app purchases,
yeah.
what's the segregation between iOS users and Android users?
Okay, so the question is, from all the people who actually pay for in-app purchases, what is the split between people who are on iOS and people who are on Android? So I don't have a chart specifically here on that today, but at this point in time, iOS is still a little bit ahead of Android in terms of more people putting money on in-app purchases, but Android is catching up very fast. Part of the reason for that is, well, obviously, Android so far in terms of volume across the world has a much larger kind of amount of market and users, right? But most importantly, we're also making additional payment methods available in many different parts of the world continuously. We already have payment methods in more than 130 countries in the world, and our strategy is to ensure that we keep developing and launching new monetization methods. Specifically about India, right? Am I reading your mind?
Yes.
We're working very hard to figure out what's the best way to cover India in terms of monetization, but something that has worked very well in Thailand, Taiwan, and Singapore already is carrier billing. Right? So there's nothing to announce today, but we're working all the time to figure out what's the best way to bring monetization methods for developers like yourselves to India as fast as possible. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a lot of questions.
So you mentioned about ad surfacing without having any like intrusive, without it being intrusive to gameplay as such,
Okay,
right?
can you just maybe move the microphone closer?
Yeah,
Thank
you mentioned one option wherein ads was being surfaced without being intrusive to gameplay as such in your presentation. So could you share an example where it's being implemented in terms of a case like?
Sorry, I still couldn't understand the first part of your question, I'm afraid.
So basically ad surfacing which is not intrusive to gameplay.
Yeah.
That was on one of your slides.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could share an example of it being implemented by any one of your
examples of the type of formats that I talked about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're working very closely. I'm just thinking about the ones I can tell you about. Sorry. So there's one that I can tell you about that there was a brief mention. I didn't cover it in the deep dive, but there was one mention in there to rewards-based ads, which I'm particularly very excited about. What I can tell you is that we're testing them at the moment with Electronic Arts in the US. And by the way, no relationship about the fact that I used to work with Electronic Arts. This is my team in the US. And they were very keen to try this type of thing with us, right? So rewards-based ads is still in beta testing. We're testing them with one company now, and we're expanding to a few more in the next few weeks. And we hope to get very good results out of that, fine-tune it, and launch within Q1, I'm hoping, the beginning of the year. That's just one example. Let's see. There's tons of examples of possible companies doing interstitials. Well, actually, another company that is, this is very interesting. You guys will have heard of Gree, for example. Traditionally, they were always free-to-play focused, and we're working very closely to figure out a few titles where we are going to be developing this vision that I was talking about. So the combination of in-app purchase and some kind of advertising. It will probably be based on the formats that I find most exciting. So starting with interstitials, for example, is still to be defined, but we're working on that at the moment.
Excuse me. Hi. My name is Abhishek. First of all, I'll tell you that the CPM has increased, no doubt, with the new version of AdMob which came a while ago. But I have few questions regarding the impressions, number of impressions, which has actually fallen down straight away after we implemented the new AdMob SDK, which came a while ago, I think so 2 or 3 months back. Okay. And there is one more thing that, I mean, month by month, as we are increasing our number of games on Play Store, we are not able to break a circuit. We are in a circuit, let's say, of X amount.